CIA unsealed some documents, and the documents stated that they had a remote viewer who they asked to remote view Mars, I guess some thousands of years ago.
Oh, saying life was over there?
And they said it actually was life on Mars. It was a dying race who was dying out. The planet has become unlivable, and they headed to Earth, and they were giants, and they were the ones who built the pyramids. So this is now on CIA's website. You can go on there right now, CIA.gov. All the documents are there. They are stating that a civilization of giants from Mars are responsible for building the Great Pyramids and basically all the pyramids on Earth. And they confirmed this by a remote viewer. And they said, if you don't believe us, they also have other unsealed documents on the same website teaching you how to remote view. They say you can teach yourself to do this shit. And they basically have agents in the military who remote view. We all know about the LSD experiments and the psychedelic experiments they used to do way back in the 60s and 70s and shit. So what y'all think about that? They just solved the Great Pyramid phenomenon, saying that
something they never just solved, something they probably already knew. But all that type of shit, they need to come. They need to go back. If they got all these documents and all this other shit from what they know, they should have had some damn footage of it. That nowadays it's hard.
Well, it was a remote viewer, so they couldn't get no footage.
So I'm gonna learn how to do that shit. Come holler at y'all in like 5 to 10 years. And I'm gonna go out there.
These documents are from 1984. Project Stargate. So this is information they've been having for decades, allegedly. Do y'all believe this or not?
This would make me hard to why I question the government and all this other shit so much, because they want to know everything about you, but they don't want us to know shit about them. And that makes me hard to trust something that moves like that. So I don't know. I gotta question shit and sit on it and figure it out myself, however they did that shit. Through meditation and through all that shit, I'm assuming they learn to eventually get to those points where you can telepathically move and see all that shit. So I think it could be true, but why put it out now though is why I question it.
Because they also have documents saying you can astral project, and they have a step-by-step basically manual on CIA.gov of how to do that as well. Because if you ever had sleep paralysis, that's like halfway astral projecting.
Right.
Because you be awoke mentally, but your body's still asleep. So most of us panic, and they say the point that you panic, that's what causes you, I guess, to come back into your reality of your body. But if you don't panic, it's a way that your spirit can leave the body and you can move around outside your fucking body. So what you think about this, Ruckus? You think it's true, or is this more conspiracy theory mumbo jumbo that they throwing out to distract people?
I think anything is possible. I think, like I said to you before, there's nothing new under the sun. If you just look at people who like practice like witchcraft and stuff, what are they doing? They're doing all those things that now we are just putting in scientific terms. Astral projection. There was people who said they could, back in the 18, 17, 1500s, there were people doing witchcraft who said they can project their body to another place. People looking at a crystal ball and could see another area just by looking into this thing. So I think witchcraft and science are coming together, like that natural spiritism. It's just being like validated by science. I think it's always been happening. Like back in the day, they said if you took a newborn baby and melted it down, you rub it all over, you could fly. Who knows that? Because who's gonna do it, right? But they said witches used to do that.
Adrenochrome.
Right.
Adrenochrome.
But y'all know it's crazy because I wrestle in my sleep a lot with a lot of shit. Like I don't know what the fuck be going on with me. But the more I started fighting it, like trying to control my dreams and shit, sometimes that shit has happened to me before. Believe it or not, I done been out of my body, like moving through the room not far enough, but like say if I'm laying here, I might get out and see from here, walk to here and be seeing myself on some other shit. And then like you said, I'm wrestling down back in my body again. Like I'm like, maybe that's a part of me trying to not knowing what I'm doing, but I feel I'm gonna figure that shit out. Watch, mark my words.
Like I used to suffer from sleep paralysis a lot as a kid, and I used to try to find ways to get rid of it.
Did you suffer from growth paralysis?
The same way you suffer from fat paralysis, nigga. And oh God, like I'll fall asleep in class, but be woke in my mind. and then my body can't move, and then you get the panicking because now you can't breathe, or you hear the
Nigga
buzz-
jump up like, who seen me?
you hear the buzzing in your ear, and then it's like as I got older, I started to see the shadowy figures. And, you know, at first they were trying to tell you, oh, those are the chemicals in your brain. You know, whatever the case was going on in your brain, you were hallucinating. And I'm like, nah, this ain't no hallucination because this shit feel too fucking real. I'm literally conscious. And the only thing that really could bring me back, because if you ever seen them shadowy figures, them motherfuckers get to choking your ass. That's when you get you can't breathe and you panic. The only thing that bring you back is you just get to praying and then the nigga will pop up. So I'm like, damn, cuz it got to be something to this.
Well, what about like when you go to sleep and you have a dream? Then it could be weeks later, and you in your regular everyday life, and exactly what happened in your dream happening, and you like, wait a minute,
some deja vu type shit.
Yeah, that shit ain't no deja vu. I believe that's some real like.
When I see,
right.
But I believe because that's the thoughts. They say our thoughts are still working the mind, so I still feel like part of that dream. Once you believe that you created it.
But how does it create exactly the way you dreamed it? Like,
because even when you sleep, your brain work overtime more than it does when you woke. So you tap into more parts of your brain while you sleep. So I feel like the subconscious, you directing straight to the subconscious mind, which creates life of the events that you do. I believe that's what it is. And what you was just saying, when that shit happened to me, I'll be trying to figure out what's going to happen next to see like if I start to feel that deja vu coming, like damn, so I could feel like I'm a psychic or something about what was about to happen. You know what I'm saying?
No, and the fact that everybody is able to experience it, you know, I think that it's a part of the untapped areas of our brains.
No, for sure.
Nah, it
like,
is. It's the unconscious. It's
we may be able
that
to
third eye that they calcifying with the fluoride in the water, allegedly, and all of that other shit. But it's because we really never had an answer on how the pyramids were built. We have all this modern technology. We flying planes and doing all this other shit. And we still could not replicate it to be perfectly aligned with the universe. Like if one brick is even slightly off, the whole thing is done.
See, but I feel like the people back then, they was way more tapped in. For one, like how they be cutting down all the trees and stuff for the certain amounts of oxygen and things that we should be getting. Wearing no shoes, being more grass rooted. You was more tapped into your natural abilities of your third eye and your inner self. Like a lot of that is taken away from distractions with TVs and electronics and all just different things that's going on. So they was way more tapped in, I believe, and able to tap into the infinite source to get all that type of, because where you think ideas just coming from?
That's what I always say. Like, who just thought of this shit?
Nah, because it's one source already. So even when you sit on certain thoughts, this is why they teach you to meditate and all this shit, but people don't have the brain capacity to sit in one spot for 5 minutes. I had to do I was doing exercises in this part of the Master Key System, I think. Or no, the power of concentration, but he teach you how to build certain things. They might do something small like stare at a doorknob for 15 minutes. And you think the average person probably can't sit there and do it for 5 or just sit in a seat for 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Without just being relaxed. Like a lot of that shit teaches you how to control, and you start to see how or understand why what you're saying is true as far as what the psyop, whatever they doing.
Like, the thing that really opened my eyes to all this stuff was like my second trip I ever went to Africa. I told my friend, like, man, I want to meet a witch doctor. Like, I really want to go out to the bushes and meet like a real witch doctor. A lot of them are Christians and stuff, so they scared of that now. But I met this lady, her name was Gachina, and she was like, you want to meet a witch doctor? Like, I could take you to my village and we could go meet one. Dude, we drove like 8 hours into like the bushes, walked through like some ridiculous woods. There was like a little shack. Went inside, bro. It was a real witch doctor, nigga. A lady, white shit all over her body.
God, the chickens at the door with the blood and shit.
She had no chickens.
Chicken feet.
But the smell was wild. It was
I'll
like,
be trying to get into them people.
Look, the smell was wild. Not bad, but it was just like the lady. So then when I went and I just want to see it. So I went up to her, and then the girl Gachina starts talking to her in like their tribal language or whatever. And the lady's like saying something to her and whatever. And then I'm like, what's she saying? And she's saying like there's some type of like protection over you, like somebody is like somebody's put like a spell of protection on you, some type of force. So I go home and I go to wifey, right? And I'm like, did you do something like some weird little something to me with your little stuff? Because she has her little shit. And she was like, how do you know about that? And then I'm like, I went to go see this witch doctor in Kenya. And she said that somebody has like a spell or something of protection on me. And she was like, yeah, I always put it on you, like every day.
Yeah,
and I was like, that blew my mind though.
Nah, because now I'm thinking back how they used to burn witches and shit who would say that, hey, I did this, I left my body, and they would burn them. It's like, were they concealing that information? This is what I meant earlier when I was saying about like, they concealed the info. So you think you got all these choices and you think you live in life a certain way. Really, like he said, it's an infinite source, but we don't have knowledge of it or even how to tap into it. And little by little, they're releasing it little by little. But the whole time they knew this 1984.
I'm telling every guy, when y'all be going to these girls' houses and shit, and shit you be feeling like you in love. Oh my God, she is the one. Man, go look in her closet. A lot of these chicks be having altars and all that in their house. And you don't even realize it because it just looked like some decoration. But she opened that drawer and pulled out them crystals and shit
crystals,
out.
Incense,
she a whole witch, nigga.
But a lot of that shit can't fuck with you if you got more control over your mind and the things that you believe in. But they could for sure take over if you out here drifting. But they say also too that you keep. Well, I don't say maybe not everybody. It just depends who you believe. But walk around as if you have, like you say, like maybe people that's already guiding you in the right way, like invisible forces already, say 2 angels behind you. You know what I'm saying? And depending on what you choose to think, they do have that energy that makes you move a certain way. The same way, I think I seen a dude, he said he don't know what happened. He was walking. I don't know if y'all seen that video. He was walking in the street of security, and he said something just told him to turn around. He turned around, and maybe not even 30 seconds, maybe less than that, the whole part where he was walking to blew the fuck up. And he was like, I don't know what made me turn around. Some just said turn around. I'll just listen. But his route as a security guard was to go that way. But he was just saying some told him. So
nah, but the giants would make more sense than them saying slaves built the pyramids. Because if you've ever been to Egypt, it is physically impossible to transport the materials from where they got it from with no modern technology on feet to where the pyramids are. Like, it's literally physically impossible.
They said
then every brick weighs about a ton. I don't give a fuck how many people we get out here. You ain't lifting that shit up, bro. And stack, like, it's not even possible. So that whole theory of, they had this system, this levee system, and I don't give a fuck. None of that shit ever made sense.
I think that in ancient societies, they had technologies that we don't know about because there's a lot of lost, like, knowledge, right? For sure. Like, remember, you had the Roman Empire, right? And they had aqueduct systems and all kinds of technological advancements. Fast forward 500 years into the future, you had the Saxons and the Anglo-Saxons and shit. They didn't even have running water. Like, they didn't have anything that the Romans had because you lose that knowledge over time as, like, empires and stuff are conquered. You lose that knowledge. So in the past, you could have a society that was 100 years older that had more technological advancements like than a society way after. Look at Shaka Zulu them. They followed the Romans in Timbuktu, and them dudes was running around with loincloths and spears.
And you know what's crazy, because they say as the years go by, we getting smarter, and I think it's the opposite. I think everything technology is getting smarter and people are getting dumber.
Right.
Because they saying all that, but they could have been smarter back then. Even a lot of the information I'll be studying be from 1901 and way back in time. It's these motherfuckers knew this way back then. And like you said, they probably was way more tapped in to the source and to everything else with the things that they believed in versus where they got us now, not even keeping a third eye open.
You made a great point even about the trees. We don't even think about how many trees we don't have. Like, just think about when you go out the country and you're literally in a jungle, your entire body feels different because you have mass amounts of more oxygen. Just being around them fucking trees, on God, like, you feel
nigga,
different.
you're happy.
You're like the whole mood and everything changes. So, because it's even a conspiracy that, if you ever seen them giant fucking, they look like stumps. People were saying like them were the tree of life. Like, those were actually cut down on purpose type shit. Because it had more people tapped in. Like, when you're around nature, you're supposed to ground. Your feet's supposed to touch grass to absorb the motherfucking energy from the earth. But we wear shoes all our motherfucking life. So it's a lot of shit.
Nah, it is, but that's
There's
why.
a lot of
that's
things
why
that we not
I
privy
never
to.
forget. I knew somebody that was a tree hugger. I'm like, man, what the fuck? But not knowing, he knew way more than I knew, and that's why I was like, you got to be careful how you judge people because he used to hug trees, but you getting all the energy from the trees. The same way I was talking about with the dogs. The dogs go outside. If you ever got a dog or you around a dog, pay attention to the dog when the sun come through the house if it ain't been outside. That motherfucker gonna go right where the sun at. If not, when it's outside and all the electricity from that dog paws or whatever, hugging the dog is gonna put that in you. So a lot of that shit be, and you will feel different.
And
that
you know what's
shit
crazy? I was just thinking that thought right now. Before
What?
you said it about the dog, I said as soon as he stopped talking, I'm gonna make the point about the dog going to the sun. Then you said it,
Yeah,
like
that
we
shit
over here on some
crazy.
telepathy type shit.
I mean, man, it's so much to like nature that we don't even understand. Like even when you go to like Africa, it's one thing that was weird to me was like when I was in Kenya this last time, you know, there's like monkeys that are on the side of the road, right?
I love monkeys.
The monkeys,
I want a monkey.
They big as hell. They look like baboons, but they not
homie
baboons.
was just selling when you should have bought it.
These
Dre.
are some these monkeys as big as shit, like 5 feet tall or like 4.5 feet tall. But the monkeys are so smart that if a man gets out the car and walks down the road, they will not mess with him. They'll run from him. They'll move out the
I done
way.
seen monkeys tripping on this.
If a female, if a woman gets out the car, they'll start harassing her, trying to take her purse, trying to like just mess with her. Like nature is like it's tapped in. Like
everything is
perfect.
everything is by design. Yeah,
it's so
exactly.
balanced. Like, and the women there are like, no, you can't walk by the monkeys by yourself if you're a female. But if it's a man, it don't matter if he's a small man. It don't matter if he's a man dressed like a woman. They've done that. Put a man in like woman clothes and like had him walk with those monkeys. And those monkeys know that's a man.
See, but animals,
That's a woman. They can smell it.
Animals is they either smelling it too, but they going based off energies too. You know, they
Yeah.
probably can feel that testosterone or certain different things. Animals be knowing. So that shit is wild.
And what is that? It was a lost civilization, but it was the most civilization. It was the most technological advanced civilization in history. Like they already had the solar powered fucking cars and all type of shit. Damn, I went down one of the TikTok rabbit
Is
holes.
the Annunaki thing?
Nah, Annunaki was supposed to be the blacks who came off
Aliens.
the. And you know what's crazy? That's also an unsealed CIA document about the Anunnakis.
Billy Carson.
Nah,
When we gonna talk about Billy Carson getting exposed,
damn.
man?
You
We
know
can
what?
wait 3 weeks.
We can talk about Billy Carson. 'Cause I know you want to talk about.
Nah,
Cub.
but that don't
I
make
don't want to
that,
shit on
but,
Cub.
Nah, but that don't make that one thing he did.
Bruh
We
got
did bump.
cooked.
Cub took a mad L with that.
got
But that don't take
bodied.
away from some of the other stuff that he speaks on. But that was terrible.
No,
bro.
I'm gonna be real. Look up the Anunnakis. It's an actual government documentation documenting that they seen black aliens get off a large white ship. This is actual. No Billy Carson, right? You got to start saying no Billy Carson.